Okay, we're going to continue on here with the fraud. And I don't want you guys to panic because I changed the video. And I know some of you guys, oh my gosh, Miss Gonzalez' video changed. Oh my gosh, it's a world that just ended. And okay, don't have to do that. This video here is a different explanation on fraud because the other video I had to do about drugs. So that obviously was not going to fit in there. So anyway, that's what we have here is fraud, and then we're talking about deceit and trickery and everything else. So we pretty much got all that covered. All right. They talk about this is what I want you guys to do for an assignment here from your book. They talk about confidence games, that money or property is obtained by trick, short and long con games. Those are listed in your book. And I want you guys to give me a couple examples of what it is that you learned in your book, okay? Oh, we already talked about the real estate and mortgage fraud, too. And then that, for part of the assignment, I want you to give me examples of this here. Equity skimming, property flipping, and inflated appraisal, what they're doing, okay? All right, so insurance fraud. They have insurance fraud. They have police officers who commit insurance fraud. There's lots of insurance fraud that goes on out there, and healthcare fraud where people, sometimes a lot of doctors get hooked up in this healthcare fraud where they bilk out a bunch of the victims. They charge the insurance company and they file false charges. And so I want you to take a look at this video here and tell me two things you learned from that video there regarding the fraud, okay? All right, I'm trying to make this quick and simple and easy because I'm at my daughter's swim practice. I can't go into a lot of dramatic detail and stuff without everybody around. All right, so they talk about mass marketing fraud. That's where you see a lot of those flyers, or even sometimes there's television commercials or Facebook commercials that introduce a product, you buy the product and end up getting something else. I did that. I was a victim of a fraud scam. Nothing you can do. I bought a $20 desk. It's supposed to be this whiz-bang desk that flips out and do all this cool stuff. But yet when we got it, it was like 2 pieces of wood. And there's nothing you can do. It's just fraud. Same thing happens with mail fraud. I want you to read this here. Look at this poor girl. She's had a situation, you can tell she does drugs there. So she was part of a ring of people that were going to commit theft, fraud, forgery, and mail theft, where they do all kinds of stuff. And they said they were staying at the hotel. And then obviously, to me, just based upon my experience and training, again, I don't know a lot of stuff going on. But just based on my experience and training, this leads me to believe that she is a drug addict. Counterfeiting. Counterfeiting is obviously they have counterfeit money there. If they do money counterfeiting, for those who still use checks, sometimes checks are out there and they'll commit fraud with checks. But now the big thing is committing fraud with the ATMs. So the ATMs are duplicated and they get involved with ATMs and they use all those. Okay, here we go again with the fraud. We talked about the debit and credit card fraud, how they obtain the credit card fraud. So a lot of people steal the credit card information, and all they need is the back of the credit card or the ATM card is the information on that strip. And so what they'll do is they'll steal plastic with the strip on there, and they'll take the information from the strip, wipe it through a machine, right? And then from that machine, they'll swipe the new one, which doesn't have any information on it, and swipe it through there. And now the information from your credit card is put onto this other credit card, and they can go around charging it, using it in all kinds of ways there. And then also, if you use it for anything on the internet, that they can gain access to it if they know how to hack the system. Okay, so let's take a look here. We're continuing fraud. and identity theft. For anybody who's ever been a victim of identity theft, it sucks big time. They take all your information. They can buy all kinds of stuff. The biggest identity theft that I had was the people have bought houses, and they bought swimming pools, they bought cars, they bought everything you can think of, motorcycles. The kids were going to private school, all kinds of stuff like that, all on identity theft. And it was amazing to me when I arrested the woman. She got 7 years in the state prison, but she wanted us to do a movie about her, create a movie about her and everything that she's been involved in, which I thought was crazy. Okay, you can talk about the overall view of white-collar crime there. And then I want you to go to this website here. Okay, go to this website. Okay, for those inquiring minds who want to know, a lot of people won't get that joke, but inquiring minds want to know. Here's this man is sentenced, and his wife gets probation in a white-collar scheme where they were involved in construction and house flipping schemes. And that, so when you go to the website, take a look at this. I want you to tell me, as part of your assignment, how maybe this crime could be avoided. So I just want to kind of touch bases on you with that real quick. When you get really high into the white-collar crime, and we're talking big-time white-collar crime, where multi-millions and billions of dollars are stolen from people, that's when the FBI usually gets involved because it crosses state lines, and you find a lot of them taking a lot of people's entire life savings away from them and using it for their own benefit. Okay. There's a Modesto woman that was arrested for stealing from her company, which a lot of people do. And this is how it usually happens. They have one person responsible for the money. There's no checks and balances. And that person becomes very comfortable and starts with maybe $5 here, $10 here. They'll pay it back. Next time they won't pay it back. And over a period of time, they steal lots of money. The biggest case I had is one woman stole $1 million from a doctor. The doctor had them doing the book keeping, and it was a pretty big business and very lucrative business. And overall, she ended up taking the money. So there's a final note about the jurisdiction. So here's what happens in a lot of jurisdictions involving white-collar crime. They say the crime occurred here in Modesto, California. We've talked about this. This is Stanislaus County. These guys then head over to Ripon and do some crime from, like maybe the credit cards or the checks that they stole here in Modesto. They go to Ripon, they buy stuff over there in Ripon, and now they maybe stole other stuff in Ripon. That's San Joaquin County. They just end up maybe going up north to Sacramento. Now you go to Sacramento County, so you have all these different counties involved. And so you're going to need one jurisdiction to take over the actual crime and everything. All right, that's it. We'll see you guys next week. Adios. Goodbye.